get out of here. Look, I'm gonna ask you something totally absent of what we're talking about. This year, hip hop is turning 50, right? When people mention hip hop, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Anything.
Struggle.
Mm.
Like it's the sound of the struggle. It's the black experience. Like that's what it is. It's the music of it's the soundtrack of the black experience.
Mm.
You know, it's our version of the blues.
Facts.
That's the best way that I could like sum it up in short form.
Mm.
It's the sound of the struggle.
I agree, man. I agree. I what I wanted to do is ask everybody that come on the podcast this year, just to give a hip hop thought. And I know you're a big fan. You and I like some of the same music. You grew up on some of the same music that I grew up on, even though of our age difference. I was heavily influenced, and people have heard me say this before. Heavily influenced by Eazy and NWA. Coming out of South Carolina myself, you were right there. So it's always good to get the perspective of people. Oh, that's the life size poster right there. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
That's dope.
I got a picture of Eazy-E in my house.
Man, listen, we love that dude, man. We loved. I mean, like, I don't even know how. It's funny because like my boy put me on to him, and I don't even know how he got the Eazy-E tape. I really don't, because like we always got West Coast music before we got East Coast music, which didn't make a lot of sense, but we did. And he found the Eazy-E tape. He dubbed it for me, and I got hooked on it and was hooked ever since. I mean, like, I listened to West Coast rap, but at the time, we're talking like 87, 88. It was only a handful of people like King T. It was pretty much King T, 783, but they weren't like gangster. Well, King T was, but Eazy-E introduced us to like something that we had never heard before, something we never seen before. And we believed everything he said. I mean, he talked about gang. We didn't know what the fuck a gang was. I mean, I was in eighth grade. I couldn't spell gang. So I mean, like, there was no gangs in South Carolina. So, every person he shot, we thought he did. So like, he was this mythical figure. And then like, once we were able to kind of contextualize and, they brought in NWA, man, I was just hooked. And that just started me on something as far as West Coast music. Probably that, I probably stuck with to this day.
I think it was the sound that we had was more acceptable to the South.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that the South make their music, the sound of it's melodic.
Very much
like
so.
It's it's that bounce. It's some shit you can listen to. It's something that you want to hear in a party or when you in your car. The East Coast, it's all lyrics. It's headphone music. Like, you never really hear a motherfucker like, you got girls at the house and you like, hey man, put that Nas on. You don't want no fucking Nas. Like,
no.
You gonna put on some West Coast shit or some down South shit because we got that bop. Even some Midwestern shit, because the West Coast sound is from Ohio.
Facts.
We get our sound from the funk.
Facts.
Ohio players. Like, that's our sound.
Zap.
We get that shit from Dayton. So the way that our shit sound, it's already from that, from the Midwest, the South, because Ohio, them niggas right there on the line and shit. So we already got that bounce. So as far as the East Coast go, respect to them niggas and all they lyrics and them literally creating this shit. The reason that our shit moved easier towards y'all is because that's the shit you want to hear. That's the shit you can bounce to. That's what you rather have playing in your car. You don't have no nigga riding up the street with the blueprint bumping through no motherfucker. I consider that to be one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. But
no question.
Are you really listening to that shit loud, blasting out your windows in your car?
Nah.
You ain't putting that on when you got a girl in your living room.
Hell no. And it's funny, man. One last question on hip hop. An album that I love. Just turned 5 years old a couple of days ago at the time of this recording. Victory Lap. And it's kind of crazy, man, because it's like the thing came across my timeline. I'm like, damn, it's 5. It's been 5. It doesn't feel like it's been 5 years. Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle, a guy that I caught on to late, but I was glad that I did catch him because, like, when I was able to, he got more pictures. That's what's up. What did you think about that album, man? Just your overall thoughts on the album turning 5 years old and the legendary late great Nipsey Hussle.
Man, it's crazy to think that shit is 5 years old. It don't feel like it's been that long, dog.
Nah, not at all.
Like literally, I'm like 5 fucking years, my nigga. Just thinking about him being gone the way he went, it really fucked me up. But the album, I was happy that he did the way he did. It's crazy that it was named Victory Lap because Victory Lap is something that is final. So it's kind of like eerie a little bit that he titled it that, but at the same time, I'm glad his last album was a motherfucking banger.
Man, listen.
Like that motherfucker is, and something that I say about hip hop albums, and this is just something that I came up with, like me and Jerm was talking about it yesterday on the phone. You can't call an album a classic until 10 years. But being that we 5 years out and everything on that motherfucker is still standing the test of time, it's pretty safe to say that's a classic album.
Listen, I was banging it 2 days ago, and it's like you play it and you really forget how much, like, how bad the shit was. And like the way that I measure albums is like the more and more you listen to it and then you get away from it, then you come back to it, you hear shit that you hadn't heard before. And I remember, man, one day, this is maybe about 2 months ago, I clicked on an interview on YouTube, and YouTube's a fucking rabbit hole. And it was an interview that I'd never seen before. It was only like a 3-minute clip of Nipsey talking about, investing in his neighborhood or whatever. And I ended up spending like an hour just watching Nipsey Hussle videos. It went from the music videos to, his videos just talking about himself and being interviewed by people or whatever like that, man. And it's like you said, it's kind of eerie, almost like how Biggie, named his album Life After Death. And we understand how the themes were. And I understand, coming from where he came from and why he would name it Victory Lap. But man, you listen to that album is like an hour, 15 minutes, whatever. It doesn't feel like that. But man, I just got in the car and was just riding, man. And it's just like it banger after banger after banger, man. I got probably my favorite song on there is Dedication, Kendrick Lamar. But I mean, it's funny, man, because when I first got on the album, it flip-flopped. Like one day it might be Blue Laces. Then the next day it might be Victory Lap, the title track. So what's your favorite joint on the album?
I don't even know, honestly. Cause like listening to that album still give me like misty eyed.
Okay, understood.
When I first heard the album, it was last time that I checked.
Come on, man.
But I literally can't listen to the song without like it fucked me up every single time. Like every time I hear the cash register sound in the beginning, I just skip because I'm gonna start crying.
Wow.
So like yeah, probably last time that I checked.
Okay.
But for a minute, damn, the song with Stacey Barth.
Victory Lap.
Yeah, like, cause I'm like, what's that song called? Victory Lap? It was. That was my ringtone for like 3 years.
Wow.
Like, just the way that nigga start that shit. I'm prolific, so gifted. I was like, yeah, nigga, this my favorite song.
I love when he says circle got small, everybody can't go. Shit, man, that described me all day. Cause as you get bigger and you move on in life, your circle is gonna get smaller.
Yeah, that shit is, and again, like I've been a Nipsey fan since the first Bullets mixtape.
Wow, you go way back.
Yeah, like 08, something like that. Like, so shit, I seen the evolution.
Right.
Because on some real shit, I remember when the marathon dropped, I didn't even like it.
Really?
I hated that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it took me probably like a month of like really just trying to like wrap my head around the fact that this nigga wasn't on gangbanger time no more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like Crip Nipsey.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bullets Ain't Got No Name series, nigga, that was gangbanger
Yeah.
soundtrack. Like
It
nigga,
was.
this music we crippin' to.
Mm-hmm.
Like nigga, this is get your head bust music. Like, you know, I was fucking with Hustle in the House and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
thugging with Lil Boosie and, you know, we gang banging with Glasses Malone and J Rock. Like, that was the Nipsey that I was enjoying. Like, you know, the one take freestyles and shit. But then when he went to the marathon, he kind of like grew up, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like the song Love, which I love now
Right.
because that was the song when he said, you know, it's like the less I come around, the more I'm getting money. Like I was like, okay, now I see
That
where
makes
he's
sense.
going because
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
want to hear lyrical Nipsey. You know, this nigga was like, what'd he say? Like, I'm a gang bang graduate. Uh, master transition from this cripping wasn't easy, but I mastered it. It was some shit like that. And I'm like, damn, he like, you know, so I still deliver rap so passionate. Like it like this nigga rapping his ass off
It
and it was
was.
tight, but I'm like, where the gang banging shit at? Like I don't think I want to hear this shit from you,
Right.
nigga. Like I get back to the cripping.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you know, as I got older and, you know, like my ear matured a little bit more into it. I'm like, okay, nah, this shit way better. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I still listen to that album. Like the marathon is shit. I like the marathon more than I like Victory Lap.
Really? Okay, that's what's up.
You know, even like TMC,
Mm-hmm.
um, shit, Extra Laps, Crenshaw.
I love Crenshaw. I was
You know,
bumping
like,
that the other day too.
because I was telling motherfuckers like when Nipsey died, I missed the episode. Like the day that Nipsey died, we was recording.
Mm-hmm.
So, and literally, we in LA. When Nipsey got killed, I probably was 8-9 blocks away.
Wow.
Like I was right around the fucking corner recording Cat versus Dog podcast. We finished recording. So as we, you know, like getting everything ready, my co-host leaving, I'm getting ready to do too much game. I'm going over my notes and
Mm-hmm.
watching the news, and it's like, oh, it was a shooting at the Marathon store. And the first thing I thought, I said, boy, Nip gonna be pissed off because they ain't supposed to have no guns down there.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing I told the producer, like, nigga, that's like a no gun zone. Like Nipsey makes sure they don't have no guns over there because he got felons working there and he don't want to fuck they shit up. So you can't
Right.
even have guns around that motherfucker. He gonna be pissed off when he get down there. I ain't even knowing he the victim and shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you know, me and the homie or me and my producer being ready, we sitting there talking and shit, and somebody called being ready phone. They like, Nip got hit. This before the news even mentioned the shit.
Wow.
He like, he out of here, dog. And he like, what? He like, that nigga laid out, nigga. That nigga brains on the floor. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, man, you bullshitting. You know, so he telling me he on the phone and he like, nigga said Nipsey got killed. I'm like, you bullshitting, my nigga. That must be somebody that look like that nigga or something.
Right.
So, you know, the news is going and, you know, me and this nigga, we sitting here talking and we hoping that the nigga on the phone is just like,
Lying.
you know, he don't know no better or something. He
Mm-hmm.
just he's some tall, light-skinned nigga that got hit and he just think it's Nip. But, you know, when the news announced it, like, I'm just like, man, fuck this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I had a whole episode written and ready. I'm not fucking finna record this shit. Like, I'm over here with fucking tears in my eyes.
Right.
You know, like me and being ready, we went, you know, stood outside and it just was quiet. Like literally, like the only thing you can hear is planes flying overhead. Like that shit was eerie as fuck. Like just like that whole day. Like I remember driving home and listening to Blue Laces, and I had to pull over because I was crying. Like I
Wow.
couldn't even see the freeway. Like I like pulled the car over on the freeway and cried for like 20 minutes. Like
Wow.
this nigga gone, dog. Like LA on bullshit right now. And I like, you know, like I came in the next week, like and just
I heard that episode. I went back and listened to that one. That was a really good episode. I mean, all your episodes are good, but that one you could tell like, and I think that was the first one that I went back and heard like some of your because I think you was young Dolemite then. You wasn't even Uncle Dolemite.
Yeah, no, I was
and
still young Dolemite.
Yeah, y'all went on for maybe about an hour 20, and y'all was just spitting real. I mean, and I think I went back because I was listening to this. I was like, I never heard like because I came onto your podcast so late. Well, not late, but I mean, like I just we were formally introduced. I was like, let me go back and hear what it sounded and what it felt like when it happened because obviously being in Atlanta, we got a different take. And I just remember, when Victory Lap came out. Because I heard of Nipsey, and I actually heard him rap before. I was like, okay, this dude, he all right. And then I heard that, when the Crenshaw tape came out, the Jay-Z bought like 100 copies. I was like, what the fuck would Jay-Z buy 100 copies of some dude raps? And I was like, let me go listen to him. So I pulled up a little stream or whatever like that, and I started listening. I was like, typical LA dude. I started listening first, and then I started hearing the music. I was like you said, it's melodic. It's got that bop. I was like, okay. Then I started listening to him. I'm like, oh no, he can rap. Like he ain't fucking around. He ain't just on some gang shit. And then I heard the Crenshaw tape and I listened to it and kept listening. I was like, oh, this shit is nice. And I started going back and listening to, the Mailbox Money, all of those other, mixtapes and stuff. I was like, man, this dude is, and like you said, you could hear and see the growth from where he was to where he became. And then, I remember being on Twitter and somebody said something about somebody getting shot. And I was like, and I'm one of those people like, I try to stay away from the police brutality videos and what I call murder porn. And I remember somebody had posted a link on a video and it was the point where Twitter, the videos would come up whether or not you clicked on the video or not. And there was a video, it was a grainy video, like I guess like a TMZ video. And it showed two people standing outside. And before the video started playing, I turned it off. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, this looked like some shit. And what it was actually, I guess, the TMZ footage from the encounter, whatever, before he got murdered. And so I never saw it, and I never went back to see it because I don't like having those images in my head. Right, they're triggering. Police shit triggering to me. But I was bothered by the fact that, one, that this was circulating because like you said, at that particular time, I don't think it hit the news yet, but shit flies fast on Twitter, because everybody got cell phone. And so when the word came out that was him, I was like, man, are you fucking kidding me? Like who would want to do this? Like, and then I didn't realize, I think his influence and power until I knew he was big out there. I mean, I knew that. I don't know if I knew how big he was until after he passed. Like, you don't get, your memorial service at the Staples Center. They don't do that for everybody. I mean, Nipsey and Michael Jackson. That's about all that I can remember.
That's
and go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not to interject and interrupt you, but
no, go ahead.
That's the reason I be calling Whack a bitch.
Okay.
Because for him to say Nipsey ain't a legend, Blueface gonna have his funeral at Jackson fucking Memorial. Like all these platinum artists and shit, because Whack was running around on his like shit on Nipsey tour and shit.
Yeah,
like, oh, he ain't no legend. Yeah. Y'all calling him a legend. Where's his platinum albums? Where's all his sales? Where's all this shit? Nigga, look where his funeral was held at.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga, your funeral gonna be at a storefront church with 16 people there, nigga. Like the only other motherfucker who had a funeral in the Staples Center was Michael Jackson.
That's it.
Like this nigga had Stevie Wonder singing at his funeral. Your auntie gonna sing at your funeral. That nigga's a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Like fuck the white man statistics, because that's what you going off. You going off white man numbers. Mm-hmm. Like this motherfucker was a legend in and out the street. Yeah. This nigga was this nigga got murals all over the world.
All over.
Nigga.
Man, listen, when I came out there like a year and a half ago. Man, I mean, everywhere we went, me and the kids took some pictures near some Nipsey murals. I mean, like just regular like storefronts, not official places. I mean, like I was blown away at how many times I saw more Nipsey murals than I saw Kobe murals, and that's crazy to think.
And that's what I'm saying, dog. Like, for him to say he not a legend,
Nah.
like, nigga, number one, who the fuck are you to say that shit? And number two, like, that's just flat out bullshit, nigga. Just the fact that there's murals of Nipsey all over the world. Nigga, your mama ain't even got a picture of you in her house, nigga. Like, who the fuck are you to say some shit like that? Like, don't nobody give a fuck about no punk ass whack 100. Like, I didn't like that shit. Like, I took that shit like personal, cause
Understood.
I've already said like I'm gonna stop speaking on game on my show, cause I'll probably run into that nigga. And it's not no fear thing. I'm more scared for him than I am for me. But as far as like when it come to Nipsey, like it's just, like if you heard the episode, nigga, that shit was all emotion. That shit
Very
wasn't
much so.
even hella logical, cause nigga, I said he was better than Tupac.
Yep.
In hindsight, I like him more than I like Tupac, but I'm not gonna say he was greater than Tupac. Like, if I had to like retract the statement from that episode, yeah, nigga, I was tripping.
I got what you were saying, because when you said it, there was context around it though. You didn't just say it in a vacuum.
Yeah, I didn't just throw it out. I didn't just spit it out my ass. But at the same time, when you look at Tupac's reach, it was a little more than Nipsey's. Not that it was like not even a conversation, because I honestly think it is.
It is.
Like
very much so.
Motherfucker want to go back and forth, I can go back and forth with you about it. Because like I said, Nipsey's just weren't actual albums that were put out by record labels.
Facts.
But if you listen to these mixtapes and you compare them to a lot of niggas' catalog, Nipsey has a better catalog than a lot of these niggas. Fuck whether or not a label put it out. Fuck whether or not Billboard counted that motherfucker. If I put Crenshaw against a lot of niggas' albums, it is better. It is better than a lot of niggas' albums. Because like I tell niggas, name somebody. I bet you I could put Nipsey catalog against Pusha T. I put his motherfucking catalog up against J. Cole, Kendrick, Game. Any of these niggas who y'all consider to be, the greatest of our era, and he's comparable. Whether or not he's better, he's in that conversation of the greatest of the era. Fuck whether or not an album, because even with Lil Wayne, it's niggas who say Lil Wayne is the greatest rapper of all time. You're not gonna tell me it ain't because of the mixtapes.
Oh, of course. But I wouldn't. And it's funny you mentioned that, man, because as I mentioned to you before we started recording, me and my man Eclectic, we recorded an episode for his podcast. It'll be out soon. And we were talking about that Billboard list that just came out of the top 50 rappers of all time. And they had Kendrick at number 2. And I love Kendrick, dog. I love him. I love what he stands for. I love his raps. I love his albums. I've been a fan since Section 80. That being said, I can't put Kendrick at number 2. Not right now. I just can't. Like, I can't. And that came as, and I mean, Eclectic don't like Kendrick. Well, I can't say he don't like Kendrick. He doesn't listen to Kendrick's music, so he wouldn't have Kendrick at 2 anyway. But, having Kendrick at 2 was high for me. But I think Lil Wayne was like at 11. So
they out of their fucking mind.
Yeah. I could think of, I could think of a bunch of MCs that are better,
Than who?
Than Lil Wayne and Kendrick.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can.
You can't. Lil Wayne is easily probably about, I'll give you top 7, but I'm not gonna give you 10. I guarantee.
I could put Lil Wayne in the top 15. I can't put him
crazy as fuck. You please humor me.
I can't. No, man. I mean,
give me 10.
Lil
that ain't hard. That won't take long. Just give me 10.
I can't give. He's not better than Jay. He's not better than Nas. Not better than Rakim. Not better than KRS-One.
He
not better than Biggie. Wrong. Not better than Tupac. Not better than LL. KRS-One, Scarface, Ice Cube. You want me to keep going?
Wrong.
See, this is a whole nother podcast right here.
Because it's like this, like and not to do white man numbers, but if you look at the output that Lil Wayne had, that like 06, 07 little like
Oh, no question.
mixtape
Mixtape
Wayne,
Wayne,
like
yeah. He was crazy.
that nigga was putting out classic fucking music at such a fucking clip that you can't not say he's better than these dudes who you honestly, dog, like how many songs if you did a versus battle of Lil Wayne and Rakim, Lil Wayne is getting Rakim.
I mean, well, look, yeah,
out of here.
Rakim ain't put out an album since like 2009.
I don't give a fuck. If you put Rakim's whole catalog against Lil Wayne's catalog, Lil Wayne's catalog is better.
No, I'm not. Here's what I'll say, because I think Rakim, one, you're talking about two different eras, but even if you compare Wayne to his contemporaries,
you got to stop making old nigga arguments.
I'm an old nigga. I got to make old nigga.
No, you can't make you have like you got to put shit in context. You can't just old nigga your way through a lot of these.
I got to Dolemite. That's what I do.
Millie Mill.
Oh no, I ain't gonna put Melly Mel up there.
No Millie Mill, like
they put Melly Mel. I think 49. I wouldn't. I can't say that I put
me on the goddamn list. Shout out to what he did. I'm glad that you were instrumental in this thing that we talking about. Because without Melly Mel, we wouldn't be talking about this shit right now.
Facts.
But you got to put this shit in context. Like
if
you put the catalogs against each other, take your feelings out of the shit. Because like I said what I said about Nipsey because of my feelings. But the point is the point. If I put Nipsey catalog against all these motherfuckers, he's very high. Fuck whether or not they sold, just the music.
It depends on the criteria, though.
What's the criteria?
That's what we have to establish.
But again, Wayne is top 10. No matter how you count it, because if you put his catalog against all the hip hop acts that have ever done this shit, he's up here. You can't argue against the fact that he got more bangers than most of these motherfuckers. Because when that versus shit was cracking, I said, nigga, Nas and Lil Wayne is competition.
Oh, it's definitely competition. It's definitely competition.
So for the fact that he can go against Lil Wayne to be a conversation, obviously he's in that.
Oh yeah, no. I said
Wayne.
I said when we recorded, I said last night, I said Wayne, where they had Wayne at, I think he was at like 12 or 11, somewhere around there, or 13. I said Wayne, a lot of people would have Wayne in the top 10. I said, and Lil Wayne, I think, and I've always said this, is one of the best rappers that we've seen, period. I said, when motivated, he's one of the best rappers we've seen. I said, I just don't know when he's motivated. Because when he was on his shit, he was on the shit and he was on everybody's neck. But I mean, like they had Nicki Minaj at number 10. I mean, so
that was fucking, I think they just did that because
it's popularity.
She's so far past all the other women.
Of course.
That it's just like we got to put her somewhere very high or we gonna get a lot of hate. So for the female vote, we gonna have to put her in this motherfucker up here.
Facts.
Because in no universe is she better than 90% of them niggas on that list. And I put her very high as far as like overall. She top 20, but she for damn sure ain't motherfucking top 10.
Nah,
but again, you hate no Wayne.
Okay, so
is in honesty, I don't count the bottom. I only count the top.
Gotcha.
You know, because if I put 1,000 songs out and 700 of them is whack, but 300 is fucking classics, I got 300 classics. So that's like trying to count what a nigga put on a cutting room floor and say, "Oh, that nigga whack." Did you hear that song he didn't put out? Like, no, nigga, that nigga got all these classic motherfucking songs. He got literally classic mixtapes that's better than niggas' albums. So you gotta put him up there.
So where would you put Andre 3000 if you had a Dolemite top 50? Does Andre 3000 make your top 50? Where you think you put it? Just off the top of your head, where you think you put him?
8.
Wow, that high.
Because, like, again, and this is the same as how I count for LeBron. I count people for their contribution. So some people like, oh, he don't got no solo albums. Did you hear his verses? Just his verse. Fuck all of the, oh, he was on Outkast and this was a feature. Did you hear his verse? Did you hear his verse on 30's The New 20? That nigga wrapped circles around Jay-Z on 30's The New 20. That shit right there. Every time that nigga raps,
Yeah.
he stands out. I don't give a fuck who he rapping with. He's standing out. That counts to me. Jada Kiss is probably way higher for me than he is for everybody else in the world.
You know where he's on that list? 47.
Bullshit.
I know.
Because again, I count, my list is different than everybody else's list because my list is just like my LeBron list. I count what you do. Fuck your team, because on the wrong team, you gonna be ranked wrong. Because it's a lot of motherfuckers that don't even remember how dope T-Mac was because he never won no championships.
Good point.
The whole league was afraid of this nigga. But because he don't have no rings, we don't count him amongst the greatest two guards in the league, where I have him probably top 5, top 3. Like, I got that nigga right after Jordan and fucking Kobe in the greatest two guards of all time.
You put him over D-Wade?
Yes.
Okay.
Hell,
okay.
He bust D-Wade motherfucking ass. Prime T-Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He'll wear, he put 40 on that motherfucker consistently. D-Wade could not stand in front of motherfucking, 6'9" T-Mac?
Yeah,
Who can
6'8",
do every
6'9",
fucking thing?
everything.
Yeah, right. T-Mac could destroy fucking D-Wade. It's not a lot of niggas who could stand in front of prime T-Mac. But because he ain't won no fucking championships and he didn't have all this team success, we ain't realized this nigga was stepping on motherfuckers. So this is how I look at Andre 3000, because he was a member of Outkast. They don't really like to count him like he was really that nigga lyrically, like he really was. Individually, Andre 3, it ain't a lot of niggas who could rap with him.
Facts.
So
I'm a fan.
I got him top 10 easy.
Yeah, I think they had Andre 3000 at 12.
It's not unfair, but I'd have him higher. You know, but like Kendrick don't really have no extra long ass career, but Biggie only got 2 fucking albums.
Yeah.
So it's like, how you gonna put 2 album Biggie above all these other niggas who got like 4 or 5 motherfucking albums?
So Biggie's lack of body of work hurts him in that sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I tell niggas, I don't put Biggie in my top 10. Sorry.
He was hater. I want to say he was 6 on their list. He was 6 and Pac was 4.
That's unfair to a lot of motherfuckers, because longevity fucking counts. Like, how you gonna say this nigga with 2 fucking albums better than me, but when Kendrick had 2 classic albums in a row, we couldn't say that yet? So brains blown out. All of a sudden, now we're gonna put Kendrick higher on the list because he got killed.
Okay, so that leads me to another question. Where would you put, when we speak of it, longevity, somebody like LL or Ice Cube?
Ice Cube.
I love Cube. Cube's my top 10.
Like,
I'm biased though.
And see, this is the thing. I would literally have to one day like really write it down.
Same here.
You know, because I was telling King Germ that shit. Like, I don't like doing this sometimes, because off the top of the head, I'll be like, oh, I got that nigga top this. And then when I actually write my list down, I'm like, oh shit, damn, I'm 15. Shit.
Right.
Because like with Ice Cube, Death Certificate is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Same.
Like, A Bird in the Hand is one of my favorite songs in the world. I could listen to that song all day for 24 fucking hours and it bang the whole day. I love that shit. But I could probably name 10 niggas that I put ahead of Ice Cube on the list just because of bodies of work.
Okay.
Because Ice Cube got 3 classic albums and then 4 other debatable albums. You know, because I count your top. Like, everything comes into play with the shit, but I count like how many real like classic bangers do you really have as opposed to this motherfucker who probably had more? The reason that I put Jay-Z so high, and like I told people, the reason that I consider Jay-Z to be the greatest, not because he's been the hottest rapper, because in no part of his career was he ever the hottest rapper. No point in Jay-Z's career has he ever been the hottest. Never. Not one fucking iota. But he's always been in the conversation for fucking 15 straight years. He been 2 and 3.
Kind of like LeBron.
When 50 was up here, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like when
I'm
50
fucking with you.
was up here, Jay-Z was close. When Kanye was the hottest, Jay-Z was in the conversation. When Eminem was running it, Jay-Z was in the conversation. When Nelly was running it, Jay-Z was in the conversation. So Jay-Z's longevity in the conversation made him that. Same as LeBron. Like LeBron might not have led the league in scoring no year, but his ass was always top 5 the whole fucking career that he had. You can't count against that shit. Just like the MVPs. He might not have had the MVP, but he's been in the voting his whole career. He got more all NBA selections than Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
that's not bullshit. That's real shit. But again, how you gonna count longevity against him?
I'm messing with
saying, oh, you only got 20 dope albums. Shit, I got 10, but my 10 was better. Nigga, I got 20 dope ass albums. How you gonna count that against me?
Man, listen.
Just like E40 and Too Short. I have E40 super high. E40 got like 22 dope albums.
Yeah.
Fuck what the rest of the country think about E40, because you know he's dope to us.
I think they had E40 he was like 42 or something like that. I don't think Short made the list.
They out of their motherfucking mind.
Yeah, Short is on my he's in my top 50. I got a spot for Too Short.
For a nigga to have a 30-year career now.
Yeah.
Like
30 plus.
The longest run of relevance in hip hop is E40 and Too Short. That ain't bullshit. That ain't me just talking out of my. That's real. Who's been relevant longer than them? Because
LL
E40
maybe
is relevant.
Well, LL he didn't make albums though.
LL is not fucking relevant.
You don't think LL is relevant?
LL is a legend, but he's not relevant.
Okay.
Because think about it. Put it in this context. If LL dropped the album right now, who's interested? Are your kids gonna say, "Hey, daddy, this LL"?
No,
we gonna check that out, daddy.
No, I'll check it out.
Let us listen to that LL pops. No, but E40, your kids know who E40 is.
Yeah, they know E40. They know 40 Fonzarelli.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Relevant. If your kids don't know, LL got some music on the way.
Yeah, they think they think Run is Diggy's dad. They don't know Run from they know Run from Run's house. They don't know Run. I mean, they know Run DMC, but not like that.
Same with Ice Cube. That nigga's known for Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you tell niggas, oh no, this nigga will bite your favorite rapper's head off, they like, you crazy.
Tear him up.
You talking about the nigga from Friday?
No, I'm talking about the nigga you love to hate.
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of motherfuckers like us, we know who these niggas is because we lived through the era.
Yes.
But when I say relevant, I'm like, nigga, do your teenagers know who this motherfucker is for his rapping career? No. E40 is known for his rapping still.
Facts.
35, 40 years later, like, nigga, my first tape was In a Major Way. That's the first tape I bought with my own money. In a Major Way. That's my first tape that I bought.
Wow.
So it's like, nigga, that nigga been relevant since I was in fucking elementary school.
Yeah, I think I was in high school.
I'm like, I was like 12 when I got that shit. Like, that's how I'm 40 fucking years old now. That's 28 damn years ago. Like, and that wasn't his first album.
Nope.
Like, nigga, I had heard Captain Save-A-Ho and VSOP and all. Like, I heard a gang of shit before that. So
Sprinkle Me, go all the way back my freshman year.
30 years of relevance. Too Short. 30 plus years of relevance, because Too Short was around longer than 40 was.
Yeah, I want to say Short came out with 87, I think. Yeah, I think it was 87.
Exactly. All these years of you can't be, oh, well, we're going to put you way down. Nigga, no. Longevity is for you, not against you. So like I said, nigga, you're not finna tell me, oh, LeBron played 20 years. Yes, nigga, it counts. That's good. You can't say, oh, 20 years. No, nigga, 20 is a plus, not a minus. So
man,
I got 40 and fucking Too Short high as hell on the motherfucking list. Fuck it. Cause you know, you can count against Too Short because he did rap very elementary, but it worked for this
no,
goddamn.
it worked.
So
I
you can't
mean,
count that against him.
he was successful with it. No, I ain't knocking short at all.
Yeah, and I got Tupac number 2 because another stat that I weigh very highly is impact. He's the most influential artist in probably music. Fuck hip hop, music in general. Who's more influential? Who's gonna be an artist that people are gonna say, I was influenced by this motherfucker? Nah. Name a rapper who didn't say they was influenced by Tupac.
Tupac has a tree.
Who just coming out now.
He has a tree, and there's so many branches off that tree, it's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Even to this day.
Exactly. Because as great as Jay-Z was, as great as his career is, as great as he is lyrically, it's not a lot of motherfuckers that's gonna say, oh, Jay-Z was my influence. It is as far as the lyricists, but everybody else, whether it's a mumble rapper, a bar rapper, a backpack rapper, Tupac. He's the most influential out of all these motherfuckers. Whether you like him or dislike him, you can't deny the influence. You can't deny the impact.
There
so
you
that's
go.
what got him high.
There you go. Man, this has been fun. This has been fun. Before we get out of here, man, Dolemite, tell folks where they can catch you at. Tell them about the podcast and everything, where they can hit you up on social.
Social media, Instagram and Twitter at Uncle Dolemite, or Too Much Game Podcast on Instagram, Too Much Game Pod on Twitter. The Twitter, I don't be tweeting from that motherfucker too much, so don't expect no whole lot. YouTube, Too Much Game Podcast. I'm on all streaming platforms, Too Much Game, TOO Much Game, not number 2, because I ain't number 2 of shit. But yeah, man, I just be talking shit. It's a philosophy show. I done spent 4 years. Tomorrow is gonna be the 4-year anniversary of the Too Much Game Podcast.
That's what's up. Happy anniversary, bro.
Man, I never knew what kind of show it was. I don't know if it's an advice show. I don't know if it's a self-help show. I don't know if it's motivational.
It's a little bit of everything, to be honest.
It's my philosophy. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's a philosophy show. Because whether you agree or not, because sometimes I'm gonna say some shit that I just know you're not gonna agree with. You're gonna disagree. If you agree with everything I say, you a fucking sheep. You shouldn't agree with everything I say. Because in my eyes, everything I say is right. I don't say nothing because I think it's wrong. I say it because I think it's right. But no two people can agree on everything. So it's gonna be some shit I'm gonna say that you don't agree with. But I just want to put some shit on your mind. So that's what the show is.
1000%. I mean, he said LeBron is the GOAT, and I disagree, but I had to have him on here because he got a dope ass podcast, man. And I got when Jern put me on, man, I got hooked. I was like, man, who is it? Because it's so much reminds me of what I was doing too. And I think like one of the first episodes I listened to, you was like, man, this is just a freestyle. And I was like, shit, that's what it's supposed to be. Like you was like, I ain't got no notes, I'm just talking. And I was amazed by how the fact that you just sat there and just talked for an hour and no breaks, no nothing. And his shit is live. So it's like I was watching on, I think it was IG. Well, I was watching it live on IG, and I was like, okay, this shit is dope. And just got hooked, man. And so you guys check him out, follow him, hit him up on social media. You know where to find this podcast. The 12 Kyle podcast drops every Thursday at midnight. From time to time, we drop bonus episodes on Sundays. This has been a great episode. Dolemite again, brother. Thank you for coming through. This would not be the last time because this brother talks shit, and I love having him on. I'm glad I didn't have Germ on because y'all would have double teamed me on this one.
I was enough.
Exactly. That's gonna do it for us. So for my man Dolemite, I am your boy 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. 5 G's.